All right, I'm going to call to order the Board of Assessors meeting of July 21st at 5 o'clock. It's actually, what time is it here? It's 5:11. So if you can bear with me, I need to read a couple of things here into the record because of the remote meetings. Let me grab my cheat sheet. Okay. Okay, this meeting is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public hearings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access has been or is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. And we are in compliance with such. We are live on Facebook, and LakeCAM is monitoring that, so if for any reason the public does have comments, we will be able to interact with them. Okay, having said that, the first agenda item is reorganization of the board, since this is our first meeting since the last election. And before turning this over to Harald, who I'll ask to facilitate that vote, I would like to welcome Jesse Mefford, who is our newest member, calling in from the car, his first assessors meeting from the car, someplace a little north of Lakeville. So welcome, Jesse.
That's right. Thank you.
All right, Harald, you want to walk through what we need to do next?
Yeah, so it's the custom of the Lakeville Board of Assessors to annually after the election, especially of a new board member, to reorganize. The statute calls for the Board of Assessors to nominate and vote a chairman for the board. And so we'll entertain a motion, I guess, or first a motion on a nomination.
Anyone want to nominate someone?
I would like to nominate John Oliver.
We have a second.
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? John, I'm afraid.
Well, you need to call the vote, Harald. We didn't hear the vote.
Well, I know, but there's no discussion, so I think we're ready to go to vote.
Okay.
All in favor of nominating John Oliveri for the upcoming fiscal year as chairman of the Board of Assessors, declare so by saying aye.
Aye.
I think we need to do a roll call vote, Harald, to be official because of Zoom, so.
Okay.
John Fink, aye.
Jesse Medford, aye.
I'm going to recuse myself because it seems a little awkward voting for myself, so. I guess I'm back to running the meeting.
The motion has been accepted. With that, I'll turn over the meeting back to our chairman, John.
And de facto person who gets to handle all the office issues. Thank you, guys. All right. So, having said that, the next agenda item is we have meeting minutes that have been distributed, I believe, by Linda. And although we can't sign off on them in person, we can vote to accept them in person. And then if we do so, we just want to make sure we get by the office at some point to initial them. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from May 28th, 2020. Obviously, John and I would be the only ones voting on this. So I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the May 28th meeting. Do I have a second, John?
I second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? John Oliveri, aye.
John Tank, aye.
And I will go with Jesse abstaining since he wasn't on the board at that point, so. Agenda item number 4, I'm gonna combine number 4 and 5. And I'll just give a quick explanation for Jesse's benefit. One of the issues with having, and we're unique, we're one of the only boards that actually has oversight and acts as management to our department. Well, Jesse's familiar with this because the parks kind of has to do the same thing. So rather than waiting for, 2 of the 3 of us to show up at town hall to sign off on, routine invoices or payroll, which needs to be submitted every other week, we traditionally have voted for the chairperson to have the authority to do that. All those records are kept. They're in the folder, so you can see what's going on with them anyways, but rather than hold up accounting, it tends to work a little more efficiently that way. So I will entertain a motion for agendas 4 and 5 to vote that we continue the chairman being the signature that is needed for payroll and invoices. Do we have a motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
A second, John, or a motion?
a motion. You making a motion, John?
So moved.
Okay, Jesse made the motion. Are you going to second it, John?
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, John Oliveri, aye.
John Tank, aye.
Jesse Medford, aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. All right, now time for me to stop talking. Had, update us, please. What's going on, sir?
I've got a few highlights to share with the board. We've had a number of, I call them small issues, that we've been dealing with in the office. One minor issue that's come before us is an address question. We, as the assessor's office in Lakeville, we're responsible for assigning property addresses. We've had a bit of a go around on an address that had been assigned to a property on Highland Road, and that. Remind me that that's the Logan property, I think.
Yeah, William Logan is the property owner, and it's Patriot Way is what it was agreed to be, a private way.
So typically when there's a request for addressing, we look at the progression of addresses up and down the street. In the case of Mr. Logan's property, there is no available even numbered address. The addresses flow from 76 Highland to 78 Highland. His property is sandwiched in between. So we've had some go around about the proper way to address this property, and we've finally resolved to go with the property owner's suggested address of addressing his property from a private drive called Patriot Way, and so his property will be known as 1 Patriot Way, I believe. Kind of a minor issue. We're still waiting for word from RRC, our personal property vendor, on their work on the 2 marijuana facilities. I had reached out to Brian Pelletier a couple of days ago to have him analyze the 2 marijuana facilities and come back to me with an explanation as to how those properties are being valued. There's been a lot of questions even coming from the selectman's office about what kind of tax revenues these facilities will generate. Brian has not gotten back to me yet, so hopefully, well, I'll be in Lakeville on Thursday. I'll ring Brian Pelletier up and ask him if he could to expedite his review of those 2 facilities and even put in some sort of an executive summary form report that I can share with you, the Board of Assessors and the Selectmen. Any questions on that front?
I'm good.
And then finally, I wanted to share with you that on Thursday, I'll be launching what I call a 10-year market trend study. I use this study to not only develop a trend line, market trend line, primarily for residential properties, but with that trend study, also looking deeply at our valuation model. Our valuation model in Lakeville is one that served us well, but the Department of Revenue encourages us as assessors to periodically look at how that model is structured and looking for ways to even simplify and make better supported our valuation system. So I'll be launching that. It's a fairly comprehensive and in-depth study. My hope is that by the end of the summer, I'll be able to share the results of that, along with recommendations on where we might take values for fiscal year 2021. I mentioned at a meeting, at the last meeting, that with COVID and some concern about how the epidemic might impact on property values, we're hoping to gather information through the spring and summer months and analyze that data to see if there is an emerging market trend that might inform where we want to take values for FY 2021. Any questions on that front?
Nope.
No?
You'll obviously have more questions when you actually see the report. So,
Yeah, but we're waiting with eager anticipation, Gerald.
so it is interesting. Anecdotally, the market doesn't seem to have stalled, especially in Lakeville. The many new housing units that are being built are being snapped up as quickly as they're being constructed. So where I might have anticipated a couple of years ago, a couple of months ago, a faltering market, my hunch is that we're not going to see that, at least not yet. Of course, the greater economy is still coming to terms with the epidemic, and I think we're starting to see signs of foreclosures and bankruptcies that one would think would eventually impact on market values. So that's all I have to report at this point.
Okay, any questions for Gerald from board members?
No, John.
No, I've got nothing.
All right, the next couple of agenda items, normally, probably a little more for Jesse's edification, are some of the abatement reports and chapter applications that we receive and have to review and sign off on. Because of our remote meetings, we don't have the ability to do that as a group. So those reports for your review and signatures are at the office. So as I always encourage, or have encouraged folks to do over the last few months, if you could make sure you swing by there at least every week to 10 days to see what needs our review and signatures to move things forward. Other than that, do we have any old business to come before the board?
None.
Any new business? Okay, well, that being the case, I don't think we need to discuss much else, and I am going to adjourn the meeting, and thank you everyone for their participation. Before I actually formally adjourn it, I'll ask LakeCAM if we have anyone on Facebook Live looking to have their voice heard. Kevin or Sean, you guys are both on mute. I don't know if we have anybody that's joining us.
Nope, you're all good to end.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, guys. Meeting adjourned at
Hey, John.
5:26. Thanks, John. Thanks, Jesse.
Okay.
All right, take
Hey,
care.
see ya.